I've always just tried to be honest. And I think, I'm going to gravitate towards people that I feel like good humans that are trying to make the world a better place, and they're doing things that I want to be doing.
Yeah.
And, if you're the sum total of the 5 or 6 people you spend the most time with, you better make sure they're good people.
Yeah.
You hang out with 5 smokers, you're going to be the 6th. Want to be there, and everybody's being held to the same high standards. Now, I should have given everybody a little bit more responsibility and brought them with me instead of trying to drag them up top. And I think for me, that's just one of the things I've learned is make sure you hit that record button this time.
Welcome to another episode of Sippin with Sakari. Take 2. This is take 2 because we weren't recording the first run
It's a
around.
great 30 seconds of non-recorded banter.
It would have been a great intro that you guys would have seen, but we are here live at Hell's Kitchen in Atlantic City with the winner of season 21 of Hell's Kitchen, Chef Alex Belew. How are you doing today?
I'm very well. I'm glad you braved the storm. It's snowing here in Atlantic City.
It's snowing. It took me about 3 hours to drive to get here.
It's dedication.
Chef Alex texted me earlier and was like, "Hey, are we going to cancel?" I'm like, no, we have to make this happen because I don't know when it would have happened if not. And
you're very busy.
Oh, you're very busy, which we'll get into.
Very busy.
Yes, we're both very busy, so we'll definitely get into that. But the first question that we always ask is, what are you sipping on today?
I have some water, which is pretty standard for my diet, and the last sips of a mocha cappuccino.
Go work out.
Go work out.
I got a little.
Already did.
I got a little. I bet you did there, Chef. I got a little tea.
Gross.
So cheers. We love tea.
I was the only person in my family for 20 years that never drank tea at the dinner table.
Really?
Like Thanksgiving's, Christmas, Easter with the whole family, 20 people around a table. You got colored glasses everywhere, and you got me with a Sprite.
I feel like tea is like such a southern thing, but
it's nasty is what it is.
It's delicious.
It's disgusting.
I love it, but then once I saw how much sugar goes into it, I'm like, I gotta stop drinking this stuff. So I tried to unsweeten, which you're like anti-unsweet, but it's fun. It's good.
I'm anti-tea.
Anti-tea all
together.
I love
all
it.
Tea. It's gross.
Well, listen, I really wanted to have you on the show, not because you won Hell's Kitchen, which is an amazing thing, which we're going to get into, but I think for me personally, I respect you not only as a chef, but as a man, and we're going to get into that, how you are with your family, how you are with other ones, and just
I'm not prepared to cry.
You're such a great human being, and I can genuinely call you a friend, and we don't have to talk every day or every month or even every year, but it's just one of those people that once you have a connection, it's going to be there forever. And so I really appreciate your time.
You okay?
I am okay. That's a little saying that we have. I really appreciate your time because our time is the most valuable asset, and so for you to take the time out to be here, it means a lot. So I really want to get into your story. I want to get into you. Can you give us, for people that are living under a rock, maybe they didn't watch Fox or Hell's Kitchen or any of that type of stuff, or they don't live in Nashville where you're like a superstar there. Can you give us a little intro about you? Who is Chef Alex Belew?
Well, I'm an amalgamation of many. No, I'm just kidding. I'm just a regular dude that got really lucky. I wouldn't have thought that for the first 40 years of my life, but at 40, my mom told me last year, she said most people in our family really kind of turned a corner when they hit their 40s. And I think your 20s, and Gary has even talked about this, your 20s, you're just kind of figuring it out. Your 30s, you're usually broke and still figuring it out. And hopefully by your 40s, which is a lot of times midlife, you've hit some sort of stride and some of the pieces have been starting to come together, and maybe you figured out what works and what doesn't. And it's odd that a pandemic that was the worst thing that could have happened to my career turned into the best thing that ever happened to my career, which I love the 30,000-foot view of that story to me, because I think it can give everybody a sense of hope that what seems to be the worst thing that you're going through right now may lead to a better and best thing that you just don't even have a plan for.
You don't even know about.
Don't even have an idea.
And sometimes the worst thing, to your point, sometimes the worst things is always the best things. And it just comes so unexpected. But I think whatever you believe in, whether it's a God or universe or good karma, I think it just always just works itself out. You
just can't quit. That's the thing. Is like if I had quit going, if I had quit working, if I had given up completely and just said, screw it, I'm going to try to figure out what else I'm good at, then it wouldn't have happened.
Yeah.
But I've had a relentless drive for as long as I can remember to be really good at this, and I never wanted to give up, and I'm a very hard worker. I don't quit. My wife will attest to that.
Yeah, you are.
And it's, it paid off in the best way. So one of the quotes, I read a quote 11 years ago that has stuck with me all the time, and it's the difference between successful people and unsuccessful people is that unsuccessful people aren't willing to do that the successful are. And most people quit.
Yeah.
New Year's resolutions last 12 days on average.
Wow.
12 days. Most people quit on January the 13th.
Yeah, 100%.
There's a reason you don't get your results.
Did you have a New Year's resolution?
No.
No,
because I don't want to create some sort of figments bullshit.
Yeah.
That I don't know. I just try to live every day. I want to be a good dad. I want to be a good husband. I want to take care of myself. And I want to learn something every day. And that's just kind of my mantra. I don't really have there was nothing I really wanted to change about myself. I just want to keep getting better. And the only way to do that is to just keep going.
I love that.
So I'm just going to keep going.
Yeah. This is the first year that I actually did my New Year's resolution 2 months, I think, before the new year. And it's been a game changer for me.
Thanksgiving resolution.
Yeah, almost, right? It was like Q4, right? Quarter 4 of the year. And I'm like, I really want next year to be like my year. And I'm like, what can I start improving? And so I started working out. I started posting more. I've been more disciplined, etc. And I started that 2 months before the actual new year happened. So when the new year came, everyone celebrated. Everybody's trying to figure this stuff out. Oh, it's a vision board party. And now I'm here just like,
You're already in it.
I'm already in it. Like I'm like head down and just momentum and things like that. But before we get into the momentum that Hell's Kitchen has brought you and what you're up to in your career, who was Chef Alex or the kid Alex, right? Back in the day, who was little Alex? Did you love food like at a very young age?
I mean, I was always in the kitchen with my grandmother when I could be.
Okay.
But I mean, pre-internet days, I didn't know there was such a thing as a chef.
Yeah.
I ate at Captain D's growing up. That was a pretty standard meal for a kid in the late 80s, early 90s. There was no idea of Michelin, James Beard. I mean, I was in a town 20 miles south of Nashville. Food had not hit Nashville yet. It was all corporate chains. Everybody was eating at Chili's and Logan's and O'Charlie's. So, I mean, food was just a meal to eat to keep going. It wasn't like I love to do it. I do remember when I was like 14, the Food Network and like other food shows, The Naked Chef started kind of getting on TV. And I was raised by a single woman, so she was always gardening and doing things in the house. So I kind of just was in that with her. Martha Stewart was a very prominent figure in my home, and I remember watching a chef cook an apple pie, and I made one from scratch when I was like 14 years old. I'd never cooked before. It was in the middle of the summer, and I went outside to play or whatever I was done. I came back in and the whole pie was gone. And my mom was like, don't ever do that again because I'm going to eat the whole thing.
Wow.
And I was like, oh, so it was good. And she was like, yeah. And that's really the only memory I have of cooking before I really got into the restaurant industry. It was like 17 years old.
But that's all it took, that one memory.
Yeah.
That little inkling of like, hey, this is good.
Yeah, but I've always it's been music or acting. Every high school play I was in high school.
Okay.
Yeah, I've been singing since I was like 8 years old. I was in choirs. I went all around the nation in choirs. My high school choir was ranked like 4th in the nation.
Yeah.
We sang in Carnegie Hall. We sang in Ely Cathedral in London.
Okay.
I mean, music's always been a really big part of my life, and so but I had to figure out that when I hit about 28, it was like, okay, I'm married.
Okay.
Music's not paying the bills.
Right.
So am I going to be a part-time chef and a full-time musician, or a full-time chef and a part-time musician? And one of those scenarios makes more sense than the other. I don't know any part-time chefs.
Yeah.
I mean, I just don't. I know a lot of part-time musicians. I know a lot of actors that make music. I know a lot of chefs that make music.
Yep.
But I don't know any full-time musicians that are like, oh yeah, I also work at a restaurant 3 days a year.
Because it's so hard.
It's so hard.
And you have to love it.
So much dedication and loyalty and perseverance, and it takes a lot of sacrifice.
Yeah. When did you know that, like, because you spoke a little bit about it, like how you have to love cooking in order to do this thing. we spoke about a little bit about your first inkling. Your mom gives you that positive reinforcement, but like, when was it that you realized, like, man, this is what I want to do for the rest of my life?
So I'd been working in restaurants from 17 until I started working at a place called J. Alexander's in 2001.
Mm-hmm.
And I would say around 2002, after about 5 years of being in it, 4 or 5 years of being in it, I think I just realized one day, I think I like this. It wasn't just a job. Like,
okay.
There's something about being in some people take to it forever,
mm-hmm.
and some people get in it and they're like, this is just a job. I hate this. Right. I'm just doing it to make money. Some people wake up 10 years later and you're like, I'm still working at the same fucking restaurant. How am I still here?
Yeah.
And this is it's a strange industry to fall in love with because
mm-hmm.
it's so hard. You have to be so on. You create great relationships, and then when a person's gone, you never talk to that person again. It's like a relationship based on proximity. But these people will be like your family.
Yeah.
And then one of them will quit, and you'll never see Dylan's gone. Where'd Dylan go? Dylan quit.
Dylan, yeah.
Oh, man, I love Dylan.
Mm-hmm.
You never see Dylan again. But there's something beautiful about the hard work, the dedication, watching people eat something that you've spent so much time working on
mm-hmm.
and enjoying it. There's something beautiful. It's like watching someone admire your artwork. It's like watching from a stage. It's like watching a concert goer sing the words of your song.
Yeah.
It's doing something to them. You're creating a memory in that person's memory bank,
100%.
and you're a part of their lives.
Yeah.
Food heals, food nurtures every aspect of our lives, whether it's a celebration or a sadness, like a tragedy and a funeral.
Mm-hmm.
People comfort you with food. When you're at a wedding, you have a reception. When you're at a birthday, you have a dinner. When you're at any sort of celebration, it's around a meal.
Yeah.
Food is part of who we are. It's one of those things that does not have a barrier to it across the world. Food speaks to everyone differently, but it also hits part of our system that you can smell a smell and immediately be transported back to somewhere 20 years ago.
100%.
Like, oh my God, this home, like when you walk into someone's home and they've been making tomato sauce all day long, you just feel like this home feels like love.
Yeah.
There's just something about it. Like you walk in, you just, oh my God.
Oh man.
This needs to be a candle. Like,
someone's cooking, right?
Someone's been caring about this and these people all day long. And the house is warm. It's got those smells.
Cozy.
And you're just like, can I live here? Can I move in? Are you accepting applications for roommates?
Yeah.
I don't know. There's just something about food that it's nurturing. It's very healing from all, the first restaurant was really created to provide healing, restore. The restaurant word means to restore.
Yeah.
So they were bringing soups and stocks to people to heal them from the inside out. Yeah. But it also does a lot more than that.
I love that, man.
That was a tangent. I'm sorry.
No. Because I'm a chef and I love food, and so when I started thinking about someone making homemade tomato sauce, I start to smell it. You know what I mean? I start thinking of like homemade biscuits or homemade bread. You go into someone's house, it's just like, it's incredible, man.
If they're willing to spend that much time to make something, that's how people express their love and care for you.
100%.
That takes work, hard work, and
time.
They're putting time into it.
Yeah.
They're trying to put perfection into it.
Yeah.
And for someone to care enough about you to make you something from scratch, that's a big, big signal of respect right there.
100%. I couldn't agree more. And one thing that kind of came to my mind as you were speaking about all these things is like, you spend your entire childhood in like chorus and things like that. So did I. But there's such similarities to the nostalgia of music, right? And also the nostalgia of food. People don't realize that culinary arts, that has that word in it, arts, at the end of it, right? Yep. And so can you speak a little bit about, because you're a musician, right? Can you speak a little bit about the similarities of culinary arts, but then also the art of music?
I mean, I think both require a degree of creativity for sure. To create a song is very hard. I mean, there's a reason. There's like 100,000 songs uploaded to Spotify a day. How many of them are good?
Yeah.
And I mean, mine included. Who knows if they're good? It's just I love to do it. But
no, they're good.
It's just a matter of, the restaurant business is a business and the music business is a business, but there's also the creative sides to both of those things that are required. You can't just have one without the other. And so I think both of them, I mean, I've got a few friends that are musicians, and they'll flat out tell you, if you're not running this thing as a business all day long, you're never going to survive. Because it's a nickel and dime business. Music industry is a nickel and dime business, just like the restaurant industry.
It is.
The margins are small.
Yep.
You don't make money off selling albums. You make money off selling merch.
And
maybe some tours.
Yep.
But like, even then, Ticketmaster's taking astronomical fees. Open Table takes astronomical fees. Like reservation-based systems take fees. And so... And both aspects require huge teams. I mean, to go on tour, Beyonce had like 27 semi-trucks. 27! You know how many people that takes?
That's crazy,
to set up a stage for one night for 3 hours, all to tear it down again that night, drive 4, 5, 6 hours somewhere else,
it's a big process.
and do it all over again. The restaurant industry, you got a whole squad that comes in. They're prepping your whole kitchen for one night of service. Then you got your line cooks that execute the service and the show, and then you tear it all down, take it down to brass and stainless steel, and you do it all over again the next day. There's a lot of similarities between music and food,
100%.
and both of those things speak to your soul.
They do.
Songs can hit you. You can hear a song that you hadn't heard in 20 years, and it will mean a totally different thing than it meant to you 20 years ago.
Can you choose one?
A song?
No. Would you choose music or cooking? Which one would you? Which one would Alex?
Nobody's going to want to hear this answer. But
I think I know
it
the
would
answer.
be music.
Wow.
It's always music was always the first love. But I understand that I'm not as good at it. Like it's not. There's something about the only thing I can even possibly equate it to when you're on stage with your band and the crowd is into it. And you're not having to think about the next note you're playing, the next word you're singing, the next note you're singing, but the whole band is just humming together. And it's like perfect. That feels phenomenal.
Yeah.
Phenomenal.
Yeah.
When you're on the line on a Friday night and you're getting absolutely crushed, but you're killing it, and every dish is coming out perfect, and Garmo is pacing itself with desserts, and salads is working with apps,
like a symphony.
and fish is working with meat, and the pass is clean, and every plate's going out pristine. That feels phenomenal.
Yep.
Those two things feel so good. So if I can't do music, I'll take that for sure.
Yeah.
But also, there's no worse feeling than absolutely getting crushed in the weeds and everything comes back wrong. And playing 13 wrong notes on a stage with your band and the whole thing just falls apart. Both feel terrible.
It's crazy.
And then there's a crowd of people that are watching you bomb. And there's a restaurant full of diners that are watching you bomb. Where's my fucking steak?
Where's my steak? It's been 30 minutes. Yeah.
I didn't say mid-well. I said mid-rare. And you're like, I don't know how to cook. I'm sorry.
Oh, man. The ins and outs of cooking, man. But, you know, I think of it's almost like a symphony,
100%.
Right? So similar to how, you know, a conductor is conducting notes and making sure that each person in the band is really hitting these notes. Same thing, that's what a chef does, no? Is making sure that each cook or chef or sous chef, everybody's doing their part and play. Can you give us a 2024 definition of what a chef is to you?
I think that term has gotten very muddled in the world that we live in, especially with social media. There's a lot of these self-proclaimed chefs on all of these social media apps. And but if you gave them a station in a kitchen to cook and burn on a Friday night, they'd go up in flames in 10 minutes. They're not real chefs. They don't. They might be great at filming and editing and making specific dishes for, you know, they can stop and start a recording. And then they can read through a recipe over here and be like, add sour cream. Start. So I'm going to add some sour cream. Stop. Next step. You can't do that on the line. To me, a chef is, you're a conductor. And you're one that can hold it together under pressure, encourage and lead your team without berating and degrading them, hold them accountable. I read I don't know where I saw it, but there was this quote about encouraging others to hit certain expectations. And I think I'm going to keep it with me from now on. But I'm giving you these comments because I have high expectations and I believe that you can achieve them. And it's like, you're setting the bar for them to hit a certain metric, but you're also letting them know that you have the belief that they can do that and they can reach these goals. So many times people get buried under the assumption of, I can't do this, I don't know how to do this, but we're all much stronger than we think we are. But you've got to have a leader that can pull that out of you and that can drive you to that goal, because if you're just on a ship with no captain, you're going to run into an iceberg. It's never going to last. Yeah. Most people that are on the line want to be taught and led, and they want to grow and learn and absorb. If there's no one giving them that, they're not going to stay. People don't quit jobs; they quit bad bosses. Yeah, and I've been a bad boss before. I know it. Yeah, I know I have. And but I'm, hopefully throughout the last 5 or 6 years, I've learned, I've grown, I've matured, I've gained respect in myself and others. Yeah, but I think as chef, I don't think you have to be uber creative to be a chef. I think there's if you're gonna hire an insanely talented sous chef or line cook, who's smarter, you or the sous chef that you hired? Probably you, for hiring someone smarter than you. I want to be surrounded by people that are smarter than me, because we can all learn from each other. All of us. There are 20-year-olds that have a plethora of information on cooking. 20 years younger than me, I'd love to be around them because I could learn and pull that out of them. But I think creating an atmosphere where people want to be, they want to work with you, they want to be there, and everybody's being held to the same high standards, I think that's what a chef does. And also, it's a lot of paperwork, which sucks. Sucks so bad. You open a restaurant because you love to cook, and you wind up doing P&Ls and taxes and invoices. And that kind of sucks the fun out of it in some ways, but it's a necessary part of the game.
It's part of it. You spoke a little bit about the business aspect, and it's like the necessary piece to the puzzle of cooking and food and everything like that.
If you don't watch those nickel and dimes, you'll be out of business in a year and a half.
100%. And you can't do what you love.
Why are you paying this much for linens from this company? It's 20 cents cheaper a linen over here. All those things make sense, and you've got to have them in place.
Yeah, I couldn't agree more. You spoke a little bit about some of the mistakes that you've made as a leader. Obviously, you're a little bit older now, still young. You've grown and you become, I think, a great leader in the kitchen. What were some of your mistakes that you feel that you've made, or if you have one that you could share with the audience for them to grow and learn from?
I think for me, one of my biggest mistakes was not giving my people enough responsibility. I put too much on myself, and so I might have stifled their growth, and I might not have given them enough room to grow and be better leaders themselves. I thought I had to be in there first thing in the morning and the last one to leave, and I thought I had to do all the prep work myself to make sure it happened, when I should have given everybody a little bit more responsibility and brought them with me instead of trying to drag them up top. And I think for me, that's just one of the things I've learned is most people want more. They might not know it, but everybody wants to feel like what they're doing is needed. Yeah. And if you're just showing up and you're just doing your station through dinner service, then leaving, that's well and good. It's easy in and out. But what are you gaining from that? Right. And so for me, I needed to put more responsibility without micromanaging them. And I think all new leaders have a tendency to micromanage because they feel like it's in their control. But perfection is the enemy of scale. 100%. And you can't, nothing's ever going to be perfect 100%, but you got to have enough trust in your people to give them responsibility. Yeah. And I think you said the key word is like trust, right? And I think you have to trust your people in order to make sure like things are happening and really getting that business that going the way that you want. Funny thing is, I was talking to my grandparents. It's my grandfather's birthday today. I think he just turned 82. Happy birthday. Which is great, right? I'll tell him you said happy birthday. And my grandmother's 80. And I asked him, I said, you guys been in a relationship for so long. What's the key to your relationship? And they said trust. Oh my goodness. Who are you? And they, man, it was trust. And I mean, I agree with that. I think it's that and open communication. Yeah. It's not being scared to have hard conversations. Yeah. Can you speak a little bit about, I know how much family and is important to you. Can you speak a little bit about what is Alex Belew's family dynamic? How do you balance this crazy lifestyle and family, and having that trust that we're talking about? Yeah, I mean, I have an amazing wife. Like it's nothing would be possible without her doing all that she does to make sure our house runs, my children are fed, I mean, sometimes I feel like I'm just swooping in to be fun dad, and then I swoop out again. And I mean, she's taken on. When I had my restaurant, I was already gone all the time, but now I'm gone all the time, different places. I don't ever there's just weeks where I don't even come home, and so she's the integral part of that system. But you know, we've been together for 20 years, and we've been married for 15, and I think a lot of that is being able to be honest with each other and have hard conversations that most people want to bury.
Right.
Most people want to just hold on to it
It's the worst.
forever until they explode.
Until it's too
and
late.
then you're like, that was 6 years ago. Why are you bringing that up now? Well, I didn't want to bring it up then. But look how long you've been holding on to that bitterness and that resentment. It's not going to do anybody any good.
Yeah.
You got to be honest. And hard conversations lead to much better relationships. You've got to have the trust in each other that you're going to be okay.
Yeah.
Just because I'm bringing this up doesn't mean I want to leave you.
We're on the same team.
Yeah, I don't want to get divorced. That's not on the table. I don't want to not be your friend.
Right.
But I got to let you know
How this makes me feel.
this shit you're doing is pissing me off. And she's had many conversations with me like that.
Yep.
And you know, you have to be willing to learn. And we're all selfish, man. All of us. And there's nothing more apparent than that when you have a child. Because having kids will either make you realize how selfish you are, or you'll be so blind to it that you'll just keep being selfish, and then your kids will grow up to hate you.
Wow.
But your kids don't care if you're doing something else. They want your attention right now.
They want your time.
They want your time. And that's the one thing I never got from my dad. I never got time. He left and never made time for me. And 43 years later, it's still a problem. So I want my kids to know that I'm always there for them. I FaceTime them when I'm here. I FaceTime them once or twice a day, every day if I'm not at home. And they know that they're a priority.
Do you feel like your childhood depicted how you are, your parenting style, how you are as a father? Because of what you've been through, or?
I mean, I've had to make it up the whole time. My dad left when I was 6 weeks old. I don't have a relationship with him. My mom was amazing. She pulled herself up from the ashes to create a great life for me and her. She's one of my heroes. But as far as being a dad goes, I've had to make up the whole thing.
Yeah.
And it's terrifying because you don't want to raise heathens. You don't want to raise these two people that are growing up to be suicide bombers.
Yep.
But I'm trying to raise two men that love themselves because I think that's critical. Love each other and take care of each other, and then love other people. And everything else will kind of fall into place.
Yeah.
I don't care what they do for a living. I really don't.
It doesn't matter.
I'm not pushing them one way or another. If they want to make slap bracelets, if that's their goal in life, then you better make the best damn slap bracelets you can.
Yeah.
But love what you do and take care of those around you. And that's everything else. Everything else is details.
Yeah, 100%, man. I love what you said about your mom being your hero because, you know, my mom is my hero too, and we had some problems growing up and stuff, but you know, I think like women don't usually get enough, whether it's street cred or really, I think there's a quote that really depict it, which is like, behind every great man, there's even like stronger woman, and I think like I wouldn't be where I'm at without the support of my mother. You know, and so like you, same with your mother and your wife, and you know, these strong women are really able to support us and make us feel good and help us just keep chasing our dreams.
You know how many single moms are out there right now?
Yeah,
it's a disgusting number.
It's insane, man.
We're losing men. Like, you have a responsibility, dude.
Yeah,
be a dad. You don't have to be. I don't care if you're married or not, but you still be a dad.
Yeah,
that's your job. And it's a blessing. Like, it's the fact that you've been given little creatures to raise and turn into awesome humans. That's a huge privilege.
Yeah.
And people are just like, I got kids. Bro, you've got humans that are depending on you that are going to affect this planet.
Yeah.
Raise them to be good humans.
100%. You know,
show up.
Show up.
It's not that hard.
Yeah. Yeah.
Just fucking show up. That's it, man. Like, at the end of the day, your kids will remember you being there or not. I've seen so many videos. Everybody's seen them. A kid on stage looking for his parents out in the audience, and he just looks sad.
Aww.
And he sees his mom. And that confidence fills him up.
Yeah.
That's what having a parent does. That's what having someone on your side does. We all need that.
100%, man. You know, one thing I always respect about you is you're so selective of the people you surround yourself with, how you spend your time. What are some of your qualities that you look for, whether it be in a man, and an adult, and a woman, a human being? Like, what do you look for when you meet someone?
Honesty, a sense of humor. I think most funny people are pretty honest for the most part. I think confidence, but I don't know. I don't like people that are always trying to one up everybody else. You can tell me all your wins. I'm cool with that. But it's this constant struggle for, you know, all these awesome things are happening to me, but we're all fighting battles that nobody knows about.
100%.
Just be honest.
100%.
Like, it's not always sunshine and rainbows out there.
Even though social media might make it look like that.
It ain't real.
But it ain't real.
It ain't real.
It's not real.
We've all got shit.
Yeah.
Every single one of us. You woke up with some shit. I woke up with some shit.
Yeah, man.
Everybody's got some shit.
100%.
But most people want to snap that Polaroid of the best moment and be like, everything's groovy. It's not all groovy.
It's not.
And I've tried to be very honest always about most of my journey. I talked openly about my wife and I and our struggle with fertility issues and having babies. I was very honest about that. That was very hard on both of us, especially her. I mean, I was always very honest about my restaurant and how it was doing. And then when COVID hit, I've always just tried to be honest. And I think, I'm going to gravitate towards people that I feel like are good humans, that are trying to make the world a better place, that are funny, that are fun to be around, and that are honest. And I like to be around people that will hold me accountable as well. Yeah. You know, the guys that I work out with, they're like, why aren't you at the gym this morning? And it's like,
accountability.
Because I didn't wanna. And they're like, well, that's bullshit, dude.
Yeah.
And it's like, you're right. You need people that will. If someone's willing to have the hard conversations with you, it's because they see it in you and they want it for you. It's not because they're mad at you, they're being rude to you. They want you to be the best you can be.
It's coming from a place of love.
Yeah, and I want to be around people like that. And I also want to be around people that are smarter than me. So the people that I choose to be around, I feel like they can add value to my life, and they're doing things that I want to be doing.
Yeah.
And, if you're the sum total of the 5 or 6 people you spend the most time with, you better make sure they're good people.
Yeah.
You hang out with 5 smokers, you're going to be the 6th.
Yeah.
You hang out with 5 meth heads, you're going to be the 6th.
Yeah.
You hang out with 5 thieves, you're going to be the 6th.
Yep.
You hang out with 5 hard workers, unless you're a hard worker, you're not going to fit into that mix. It's like being an atheist and working at Chick-fil-A.
Yep.
That shit ain't going to work. Thank you. Fuck off. Nobody's going to work like that at Chick-fil-A.
100%.
It's my pleasure.
Yeah.
What can I do for you? Thank you so much, Mr. Alex. If you imagine being a hateful person trying to work at Chick-fil-A, you're like this one cancer cell that tries to put itself in a bag of chemotherapy. You're going to die.
Yeah.
You're not going to change Chick-fil-A.
Yeah.
They're either going to change you or you're going to be miserable within your first 8-hour shift. You're going to quit.
100%. You spoke about it, but I really want everyone to really think about it, because I think like who you surround yourself with is so important, right? And they hold you accountable, and it's so important to the person that you become. I started looking at that as like towards the gym, right? Like people that are in the gym, when you surround yourself with people that are in the gym, that are waking up at 5 o'clock in the morning, 6 o'clock in the morning, or actually have the discipline to come every week, every day, whatever it is, whatever routine or lifestyle is for you, that's one thing that I look for in a person. Like that person has discipline, and it rubs off on you.
100%.
It rubs off on you, right? And it makes you become better.
Well, you create a habit about feeling good.
Yeah.
I mean, creating good habits is very hard.
Yep.
Creating bad habits is very easy.
Yep.
But you want to create a habit of working out and exercising to when you don't do it, you feel terrible. Like I feel
100%.
like notably worse if I skip 2 days of working out.
100%.
Mentally, bad. Like it's bad. Like my fuse is incredibly short.
Yep.
I don't have the patience I need. It's mental therapy. It's getting physically more attractive or leaner
is
or
like the bonus.
That's the added on top. That's the whipped cream.
Yep.
The mental therapy, That's the Sunday.
100%.
Like, that's what I'm talking about. It's
100%.
like you get like we're men. I don't care who you are. Men have a primal instinct to hunt and gather and do things and work out that energy. If you're all day on your phone, on a computer, on Call of Duty, on whatever, and you're not working that stress out, that shit will get you.
100%.
And you got to get it out of you.
And everybody has to find what works for them. You know, for me, what works for me is walking. Like a daily walk, no matter what. Just making sure I get some type of stuff. It clears my mind. It makes me feel great. If I don't hit the gym that day, or as long as I hit it throughout the week. But like that walk for me has became so therapeutic, and it allows me to get work done while I'm doing like walking in the gym or on a treadmill, whatever the case is. So walking has been so huge and such a game changer for me. And it's creating those habits to be consistent, right? Like you have to be consistent in the kitchen, consistent in there. So talk to us a little bit about this term, go work out. While we're on the topic of it, right? Where did this come from?
I don't know.
What is it?
I don't know. I've worked out in a gym for 7 or 8 years.
Yeah.
But I was never really getting anywhere. I was just spinning my wheels, didn't really have a plan, didn't know what I was doing. My diet was all over the place. I'd come home and eat a whole bag of Doritos. I'm like, I don't know why I'm not getting muscles. It's weird. I'm eating a ton of microplastics, but not a lot of protein. And really, it was the day I got my headshot from Fox, and I was like, "Oh my God, I look fluffy."
I looked fluffy too.
But I weighed myself when I got back from Hell's Kitchen, and I was like 235.
Yep.
And I'm 210 now.
Wow.
And testosterone has helped. I'm not gonna lie. I'm almost 43,
okay.
But what I eat now is better and cleaner, and I don't know. If you're going to encourage people to do things, encourage them to do things that are going to make them better. America's 67% overweight and 36% obese as a country.
Yeah.
It's insane. There is literally no downside of going to work out. None. I mean, it might take up a little bit of your time. You can figure out how to plug that into your schedule.
Yeah.
There is no way you're going to feel worse after you work out.
Yeah.
Everything's going to feel better.
It's crazy.
Like you're going to be able to move a little bit better. You might be able to see your toes.
Might be a little tired, but
you might be I never feel worse after I leave the gym.
Yeah.
I feel better. Mm-hmm. It's like a cold. Have you ever done a cold plunge? Like a true cold plunge?
I haven't done one yet. I'm going to do one this summer.
Bro.
Huh?
It's fucking terrifying.
Yeah.
Like you stick your toe in that water, you're like, no.
Yeah.
Like if anybody hasn't seen it, go watch Stone Cold Steve Austin. He just posted it last week.
Okay.
Him getting in a cold plunge.
Yeah.
He's one of like the manliest men on the planet.
Right.
He made it 15 seconds. And then he got back in there and he was like, oh damn it, I'm not gonna let this cold water beat me. But it's when you get out of a cold plunge after 3 minutes, there's so many chemicals being released from your brain.
Wow.
You feel like you're on drugs.
Yeah.
You feel so. I could have run through a mountain.
It's crazy.
I got out of my first cold plunge last summer in California with the Melon team, and I felt like I could get into a boxing ring with Mike Tyson. I mean, I was jazzed, dude. It was the craziest feeling. Like everything was brighter.
Yeah.
Colors were more colorful. I felt alive. It was awesome.
Dude, that's how I felt when I did my 3-day fast.
I didn't feel like that.
You didn't feel like that? I fasted for 3 days, and I felt like not terrible, but I felt like it was hard. Right?
I've got
for the
to
first
48 hours.
48 hours.
I couldn't handle it.
But after, I just like got this burst of energy, bro. Like after, like I had like everything seemed brighter.
Yeah.
Like it rebooted my whole like immune system. Like it felt great, bro.
After the first day, I wasn't hungry.
Yeah.
The hunger wasn't the issue. I drink, admittedly, too much caffeine. And the caffeine headache, bro.
Okay, that's what it was.
Severe. I felt like I was getting my head sawed off.
That's what it was.
It was like a full blown. I was awake getting a lobotomy. It was brutal.
Oh,
so
man.
I was just like fiending for coffee.
Yeah,
I was like,
that's what it was. The coffee got you.
Yeah, it was bad.
Speaking about brutal and bad, we have to, as we're here live in Atlantic City at Hell's Kitchen, we have to speak about your time, or our time on Hell's Kitchen, brother.
You slept through most of it.
I did sleep through most of it. It was great.
Where's Sakari? He's asleep.
Sleeping?
He's asleep.
I had to get my energy up, so that's all my little rest periods. Hardest part of Hell's Kitchen for you?
The sleep.
The sleep?
Yeah, the sleep, the lack of sleep. Obviously, I missed both my boys' birthday to be there.
Yeah.
So not being able to talk to my kids on their birthdays was pretty tough.
Yeah.
I mean, the hardest part might have been the quarantine, honestly.
Yeah, the 2 weeks before.
Those 15 days being locked up in that hotel room with no humans.
No air, bro.
No
Like,
nothing.
like,
but I mean, I've told everybody that's asked me here that eats here, like, what was the hardest part? I said cooking was honestly the easiest part of Hell's Kitchen.
Yeah.
It was the
Everything else.
sleeping on a twin-sized bed with no air
it was
conditioning.
the food, eating the bad, like all that
eating
shitty food.
Uncrustables and Red Bull and
Dude, I was like,
Hot
what is
Pockets.
this?
Yeah, we were.
That was the hardest part for me.
We were eating like trash. We had to schedule our poop times because we only had 2 toilets for 18 people.
Yeah, man.
I mean, there was a lot of hard stuff to Hell's Kitchen. I mean, the craziest thing about Hell's Kitchen was that when I came back, regular life felt insanely dull and boring.
Yeah.
Like, I was like, what am I doing? I'm just going to take my kids to school today?
Like, what?
That's it?
We're not going to go do
Where's
some crazy-
Gordon,
Yeah.
like, yelling at me, being like, Alex, wake up!
Yeah.
You know, that's all gone. It's just the regular monotony of life.
Regular life.
Yeah.
Back to reality.
It took a few months for it to really for me to not feel like I was missing out on something.
Wow.
It's a weird feeling.
Best part of Hell's Kitchen.
Oh, clearly winning.
Oh. There it is.
Clearly. I don't know, the whole experience was really cool. I think I learned a lot about myself while I was there. I learned that I am way more capable of doing a lot of things at once than I thought I was. I loved the fact that we had no clue what each day looked like, and we were just being pulled in 1,000 different directions. I really thrived off that. I loved being here. Oh, no, we need you over here. Now we need you over here. Now go here. Now there's this going to be challenge, this reward, this punishment. I didn't get many other rewards, but a lot of different things going on.
Yeah.
I really enjoyed the chaos.
Yeah.
It was fun to me.
Yeah.
I liked it.
It feels like, people tell me all the time, Sakari, your life feels so chaotic. But for me, it doesn't feel chaotic because it's like, it's just so,
It's your life.
It's my life, right? It's so natural. And so I think that was something that we both shared, which was like all the craziness, all the chaos could be happening around us, but it just felt so natural as it was happening. You didn't even think about it. You don't think about a pan going on. They just did it.
Yeah.
You don't think about cooking. You just do it. How do you cook steak? I don't know. I just cook it because this is what I've been doing for so long and stuff. And so it was such a great time. I learned a lot. What do you think your biggest takeaway from Hell's Kitchen was? Whether it was from Gordon, whether it was from Christina and Jason, or just even your peers?
I mean, as cliche and cheesy as it was, the phrase that he kept telling us our whole season, never let anything get in your way.
100%.
That kind of falls in line with being rejection proof, which is a phrase that I heard many, many years ago. And don't be scared. Look, most people don't get what they want out of life because they're too scared to ask. Most people don't get raises because they're too scared to ask.
Yeah.
Most people don't get the date with the girl because they're too scared to ask.
Yeah.
Most people don't get whatever because they're too scared to ask.
Yeah.
And some of the best things I've done in my life were because I sent someone a message that I didn't know and said, I'd love to come work at your restaurant for a few days if you'd let me. And I've made relationships that have lasted 6 and I know Gavin Kaysen now because I sent him a message and said, can I come stage at Spoon and Stable? And what I learned during my week there, I still carry it with me.
Yeah.
Plus Gavin is one of the most amazing human beings
100%.
I've ever met.
Yep.
And you just can't be scared to ask questions. What's the worst that could happen? They tell you no?
Yeah.
Move on.
The answer would have been no if you didn't ask.
Yeah, it's
right?
gonna be, you miss 100% of the shots you don't take.
Yep.
So ask 10 questions. If 9 people tell you no, you still got 1 yes. And that 1 yes, life is all about, it really is about who you know.
Yeah.
Because you can learn anything. You can't meet anybody.
100%.
And when you get the chance to meet people and get connected with them, you better cling on to that because there are people that work in corporations and all they do are grease wheels. They're connectors. They just connect. Oh, I got a guy for that.
Yeah.
How many times have you been on Facebook and somebody's like, I need a plumber. My pipe is frozen. I got a guy for that.
Yep.
Yeah, so it's knowing people in different various aspects of life. Very handy. Very handy.
100%.
Also, you can't just use them for who they are, but
Yeah.
like there are people that are just great with making relations, and those people are very valuable because it's, you've worked for Gary Vaynerchuk. I don't know anybody else that's done that. You probably couldn't get me a meeting with him, but the fact that like I rolled up into his building one day to meet with you for a
yeah.
bathroom break in the middle of New York City while I was late for my plane. But like that was cool, man. I'd never be in Gary Vaynerchuk's building.
Yeah.
You know, I wouldn't know somebody that worked for Gary Vaynerchuk.
Yeah.
And so you get to meet all these different people and have all these different experiences if you're just not scared to ask the question.
Yeah, 100%. I think one thing I loved about you, you're always so sharing and always so open and honest and willing with your knowledge that you've amassed, right? And so, I mean, you've dropped already some gems for everyone that's listening. I hope everyone's listening. Make sure you subscribe.
Like, subscribe, and comment.
And share.
Is that
share.
what they say? Is that what they say?
That's
what my
they
kids say. Mr. Beast says, make sure to subscribe.
Oh, man. But what are some advice for a young person coming up today that wants to be a chef or wants to be a food influencer, wants to be not your best cup of tea, but they love food. You know, they just love food. They see you win Hell's Kitchen. They see you around these amazing chefs. You're living the lifestyle through social media eyes, right? What would you tell them? Besides that, it's not all rainbows, right? What's the truth? What would you tell them?
Put in the work. Don't forget to put in the work.
Yeah.
I don't care if you can make a foam out of snail shells.
Yep.
Go learn how to small dice an onion. Learn how to hold a knife.
Yep.
Have some foundational knowledge that can actually be useful to where you're not just... You want to be a well of information. You don't want to be a little spring of information.
Yeah.
I want you to have deep foundational knowledge. You need to learn. You need to be able to have conversations with people. I walked over a linen that was on the floor, and I didn't pick it up. And I kept walking. I took like 2 steps.
I've done
and
that before.
all of a sudden, everybody's done it.
Yeah.
That wasn't mine. That's not my station. That's not
Right.
my table. That's
It's
not
not
my
mine.
responsibility.
Yeah.
I'm not going to pick it up.
Mm-hmm.
And I walked past it and I said, is that what a Michelin chef would do? And there's no way.
Yeah.
It doesn't matter if it's your problem.
Doesn't matter.
You can fix it.
Yeah.
So fix it. And that one moment, I don't know where it came from. I don't know what happened, but now it's just ingrained in me. I don't even think about it. It's subconscious. If I see something out of place, dirty, needs to be fixed, I just automatically do it. I don't think about doing it. I don't think about going, whose is this?
Part of who you are.
I just do it.
Yeah.
And so I think if we all operated like that, everything would run pretty smoothly.
Yeah.
If everybody just proactively fixed problems or picked up things, nothing would be in disarray.
Yeah.
If everybody was just like, that's the union mentality.
Yeah.
Well, that's not my job.
Yeah, it's not my job.
Bro, it is your job.
It is,
This
right?
whole thing functions because of the way it is. And if we can all make it better, dude.
I love that.
Make it better.
100%. You know, one thing I think a lot about is, because we were talking earlier about managing people and such, everybody has a superpower. I really believe this, right? And so everyone has something that they're really great at. Not just whether it's cooking or whatever it is. What do you feel your superpower is?
Oh, I have no clue. Sarcasm? I don't know that I have one, honestly. If I could pick one, it would be flight. I'd love to fly.
Fly?
But I don't know that I don't know.
What is the one thing that you do better than most people besides cook or music, but just has to do with within you? Are you the kindest person? Are you the, fastest person? Or do you think on your feet? Like, what is something that you feel like makes you different than other? Are you the most disciplined person?
No, I'm not the most disciplined at all. That's why I'll never have a 6-pack. I got like a 2.5 pack.
Right.
I think I really do thrive in chaos. Like I think when the shit hits the fan and things start,
you figure it out.
I problem solve very well, and I've done that not because I was a natural problem solver, but because I've been in so many problems that I've had to solve. And it started with me starting my own catering company in 2008. I would just constantly run into problems, and it was like, it doesn't matter. You got to figure it out. Like, there's 300 people waiting to eat. Yeah. What do you mean you don't have the food? Yeah. It's like, there's no electricity. Like, figure it out. And it wasn't this there wasn't this weird coddled mindset of, well, you didn't make it happen for me, so I'm just not going to be able to do it. It was, no, it's my problem. I'll figure it out.
Yeah.
And the problems didn't get easier. I got smarter, and and then, but easy problems back then felt really hard. And now hard problems right now would feel insurmountable back then. So I think, everything is just a test getting you ready for the next test.
You're just growing.
Yeah,
growing.
What is it? The weights
Evolving.
don't get lighter, you get stronger.
Yeah.
And it's the same mentality. But then as the weights get lighter and you get stronger, you pick up heavier weights.
Yep.
It's the same mentality.
100%.
And I think, being in the weeds in a restaurant, I love it.
Yeah?
I love it.
Yeah,
that's why that's why my podcast was called Life in the Weeds.
Okay.
Like, I love that feeling of just being
Just in it.
overwhelmed. Oh, you feel so alive.
Yeah.
And time is like in a vacuum. You just breezing through
just
the atmosphere.
you blink and it's done.
And then it's over.
Yep.
And you're like,
oh, this is
woo!
great. This is great.
Holy. How did we just do that?
I
And
love
it's,
it.
I don't know. It's a pretty fun experience.
Before we get out of here, you were talking a little bit about heavy weights to lift, right? What are some of the things that you're up to now, right? What's your heavy load to lift now? What is Chef Alex Belew up to now? What are some things that you want to do in the future? Like, let's manifest it right here, right now on the show. What are some things that you want to do?
Gordon, call me. I'm between coming to Atlantic City 1 week a month. I'm going to be in Texas for 15 days. I'm going to be in Seattle doing a A&A Food and Wine Festival. I'm doing another festival in Miami. Then I'm going to Boston to judge a Pro Star competition and doing a pop-up up there. And I'm just I'm all over the place. I've got a couple of private dinners here and there over the next 3 months.
You're busy.
I'm doing the Iron Fork competition in Nashville. And there's just... It's all these. I'm so bad with administration. I need like an assistant, but I can't afford one. So it's a very weird position to be in. But I'm just I guess I'm just trying to figure it out. Like there's no real stability. I don't have a 9-to-5 job where it's like a guaranteed paycheck. I clock in, I clock out. I work here. There is not that.
Yeah.
It's like I'm an independent contractor right now.
Same. Yep.
And I go where the money is. So if you've got the money, I'll go there. But that's kind of how it works. Is I don't, the next gig isn't guaranteed.
Yeah.
Which is very terrifying for a 42-year-old man with 2 children, a wife, and a house, and like I've got real responsibilities. Not that y'all don't, but our break even at our house is like $7,000 a month.
Yeah.
That's not a little bit of money.
Yep.
And figuring out how you're going to make those ends meet every month is.
It's the pressure.
It is. There's a lot of pressure.
Yeah.
There's a lot of responsibility, and I don't take that lightly. And so, I want to do the best to secure a future for my family and myself and my kids.
100%.
So I'm just still trying to figure that out. I don't know what would I love to do more TV? Absolutely, it was a blast. Would I love to work with Gordon again? Absolutely, he was a blast. Do I have anything in line? Nope.
Yeah.
So I'm just I'm at the mindset right now of I'm going to keep putting in the work, and I'm going to hope opportunity follows.
100%. I feel like I'm right there with you, but when it comes to that, for me, I think I like thrive in it almost. Of like, it's like being an entrepreneur almost, right? Like entrepreneurs don't have this 9-to-5 or this this thing. They just are really figuring it out. And so, I the first question that everyone asks me always is like, Sakari, you're a chef. Like, where do you work? Or where's your restaurant? Where's your restaurant? And I'm like, I work for myself. And so I commend you for the hustle and what you're doing for your family and just who you are as a human being and as a chef. So I'm so honored to call you a friend, and I'm so honored to have you on the podcast. It means the world, brother, and I can't wait to see our friendship continue to blossom over the coming years. I always like to end the show with a question, which is, dun-dun-dun. What is one thing that you would want to change about the world?
Term limits on politicians. I know that sounds crazy, but I think that'd change a lot of things about the planet.
Yeah, so would you want it longer or shorter? Shorter? Okay.
Yeah, term limits and probably age limits.
Okay.
I know I don't try to get too political anymore, but like America's in a weird place. I think a lot of our world's in a weird place.
Yeah.
And I think a lot of the people that are in charge of running the systems that we all have to live under are very shady, non-truthful individuals. I'd love to see that worked out somehow, and I think we'd all be in a better place if that happened. We're also focused on, nobody talks about policies on how to make things better anymore. They talk about social issues, which is not really helping anything.
Yeah.
Like, we got a lot of issues in this. Like, just look at fentanyl.
Yeah.
It's killing over 100,000 people a year.
Yeah.
Don't worry about it. We're not going to do anything about it.
Yeah.
I mean, it's an issue. So, you know, there's a lot of big issues on the planet. I think everybody should support small businesses. I think everybody should be forced to work in a restaurant for at least 6 months of their life.
Yeah, 100%.
But I don't know. You probably didn't see that one coming. But
I didn't see that coming
really,
at all.
I mean,
I didn't see it coming at all. But
I'm a grown man with 2 small children.
It makes sense.
And I think our government is whack. All of it. Both sides.
It's tough.
Not,
yeah.
It's not a. I'm
Red or
not
blue,
picking a side.
Red or blue, yeah.
I'm about as independent as you can get now.
Yeah.
You know, voting for Bobby Kennedy Jr. But I think
it's hard.
I think it's our political system is whack, and they should all be ashamed of themselves.
Yeah, it's tough, man.
That's where I'm at.
It's super tough, man. Thank you, brother. If you guys want to find out what Chef Alex Belew's favorite meal, favorite dish, and the story behind it, you know, why it's his favorite meal and all this such, click on to the next tape and click on to the next video, because Chef Alex and I are going to get in the kitchen and start cooking up some fun stuff for the next segment of this show. But thank you so much to everyone listening and watching at home for another episode of Sippin' with Sakari. And Alex, thank you. Cheers.
My pleasure.
Sippin' with Sakari.